going on, guys? Welcome to Extreme Daily Drivers. I'm Brandon. Thanks so much for stopping by the garage. Today is going to be an update video. Lots and lots of stuff going on in the garage that I haven't actually installed yet. So I want to bring you up to date on what's going to be going on the fleet of Extreme Daily Drivers vehicles, as well as what's been done over the last couple months. So let's start off with the Jeep Commander, parts that have been sitting around this garage for literally close to a year. This being one of them. This is a rear differential cover. Actually don't remember where I got this or who I got it from. It was not from Goliath Off-Road. There's actually a story behind why this sticker is even here, but I actually painted this thing 3 different times, 3 different ways, and I finally settled on gloss black. I know it's the lamest possible color combination, but this guy's getting installed super soon. It's funny enough, I actually did a poll on what color I should paint this, geez, close to a year ago. The choices were black, gray, green, or Hemi orange. You guys voted and you picked Hemi orange, which I think is hilarious because that would look terrible on the Jeep. But anyway, if you guys are interested in seeing this installation, hold on because it's coming soon, I promise. All right, next up for the Jeep Commander are going to be these Old Man Emu HD rear coil springs. And these have been in the garage for another item close to a year, but I think these are really going to help out the rear of the Jeep, and let me show you why I got these. So as you guys know, I got all sorts of weight on top of the Jeep. It's not a ton of weight. We got a roof rack here. This is probably 70 pounds. I got the Roam box, which is filled with a lot of lightweight stuff, maybe 25 pounds worth of stuff, including the boxes. A lot of lightweight stuff up there, but this is really where the heavy weight comes in. We obviously got a 33-inch rear spare tire. We got our rigged Ultra Swing, which weighs a pretty penny, the drop down table, the traction bars, and I don't know if you guys have seen this. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't, I can't remember, but we got ourselves a 5-gallon propane tank back here. So all this stuff adds weight to the rear of the vehicle, and that's caused the Jeep to rub a little bit. Can you see it right there? It's just a tiny bit. I could easily trim that off, but I think the HD springs will help get this up in the air, maybe just a 1/4 of an inch or a 1/2 inch. That's really all I want. I think it's going to be super helpful, give me a little bit more clearance. So I have these to install on the Jeep. These are front differential bushings. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I'm going to do this myself or I'm going to pay somebody to do it. And it's doable in my garage, but man, I hate pressing out old bushings. So anyway, I've had these 2 years, and my differentials in the Jeep, they just I don't know, they almost aren't getting any worse. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna do this upgrade. It needs to be done, especially when we do any kind of off-roading. So stay tuned for that, even though, like I said, I'll probably be paying somebody to do this, save myself the headache. So this is taking up a ton of room inside my garage, but this is actually parts to a project. So what we have here is cardboard, a big cardboard box. We got ourselves some of this Reflectex, and we got ourselves some Gorilla Tape here. We're just missing one thing, and that is fabric, and let me tell you why we need this and what we're going to be doing with it. So in the rear of the Jeep, I have these skylights, and the skylights come with shades, and for the most part they do a pretty good job. As you can see, this one here on the driver's side is holding up pretty well, but don't ask me what happened, but this passenger one just decided to totally break one day. I never touched this or did anything to it. I noticed it was sagging. I went to retract it, and it didn't retract at all. So what we're going to be doing with that cardboard and fabric once it gets here is I'm going to go ahead and just cut this off and make some reflective sun blockers to install here as well as there. And if all goes well, I'll be doing them for the back windows as well, to get rid of some of this insane heat that creeps into this giant Jeep. So another thing that I'll be installing whenever I get around to it is this right here. This is the Big 7 kit, the battery cable upgrade for the XK 4.7. This is from jeepcables.com. This is an American owned and run company. And basically what this is, if you guys remember on my XB, I did a Big 3 upgrade. This is very similar to that. It just takes it to another level. So instead of the Big 3, it's the Big 7. This is going to improve voltage overall on the Jeep. You guys know how all the lights I have on there. I need all the help I can get. It should also kind of cut down all the current going to the alternator, make it a little bit more efficient. All right, so what we got here is a little transmission cooler by Evil Energy. This thing is going to sit in front of the radiator and will add a little bit more cooling capacity to the transmission fluid. So that about does it for the Jeep. As you can see, tons and tons of stuff to do. Even some more stuff that I haven't even gotten to yet because I haven't actually purchased the products. But let's move on. Let's move on to Kelly's car, the Lexus CT200. We've had this car for, God, almost 10 years. It's got over 100,000 miles on it. We haven't done really much to it as far as modifications or even maintenance, to be honest with you, just oil changes and brakes. But that's going to change. We've got a couple things here I want to show you that we're going to be installing to her Lexus. One of the maintenance items that we'll be installing will be new spark plugs. I know, it's thrilling, I know. But you know what? There's not a lot of stuff on YouTube for the CT200. So hopefully this install video will actually help some people out. All right, now let's talk about something that's a little bit more fun. This is a new stereo / navigation / Bluetooth / rear camera, the whole bit for Kelly's CT200. Not a lot of information in regards to replacing stereos at all on the internet, on YouTube, whatever, for the CT200. So this should be a real fun video to make. Probably lots of challenges ahead of me with this thing, but this will be cool, man. She really needs a new stereo. Her car's still stuck in 2014 and wants to play like CDs and stuff like that. So this will be a step into the future. So speaking of step into the future, check this thing out. This is a brand new modern looking grill insert for the CT200. There are a couple more pieces that go to this. I'm not gonna get it all out right now because we're not doing the install today, but this is really gonna dress up the front end of her car, make it look way more modern and a heck of a lot sleeker. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Miata. Miata's been awesome, been driving it. I have to actually drive it like every 2 weeks, otherwise something happens to the ECU, it gets all confused, doesn't want to start, super annoying. But anyway, drive this thing pretty often. I haven't had the top up in probably a year. It just stays down. I added this tonneau cover to it. I bought this thing off Facebook Marketplace and modified it by cutting some slits into it so it fits around the roll bar. Turns out awesome. Take it on the highway, no issues, doesn't come off or anything like that, and it really cleans up the look of the back of the Miata. So I really like the way that thing turned out, and I think I got it for 80 bucks off the Marketplace. But we are going to be making some updates to this suspension-wise. It's probably hard to believe, but this still has the original sway bars and end links from 1991 on this vehicle. That's right, 30-year-old suspension parts are actually still on this car, despite the fact we've changed pretty much everything else. So I went ahead and made a purchase from AWR. If you guys know AWR, remember AWR, we bought motor mounts from them a couple years ago, installed those. But I have the front sway bar here and got some Flying Miata end links in there. And then for the rear, that's in this box, it's a 5X Racing or 5 Times Racing. I forget what the name of it is, but I've had that for like 3 years and haven't installed it because you don't want to do a rear and not the front. The front is more important on a rear-wheel drive car. So we got a 1-inch bar here. It's supposed to be awesome. Here's all the hardware. We also have reinforced bracing to install. So that's going to be fun. So that's what's going to be going on with Miata. Finally, that brings us to the Prelude. And I wish I could tell you that I drove this thing every 2 weeks, but I don't. I drive it like every 6 months. But the thing's awesome. Starts every time. Got a new battery in it from Amazon, and it's been a really good battery, man. It's an AGM, and it was like 120 bucks shipped. So that's where I'm getting my batteries for now on, because having these two kind of garage queens here, they just sit here and do nothing, and the batteries go dead. And before you tell me about trickle chargers, I have all that stuff. I just don't like leaving it on all the time. I feel like the garage is going to burn down. But anyway, what is going to happen to the Prelude? The Prelude is getting new wheels and new tires. If you can believe it, I've had this car 10 years. Yeah, I've had this car 10 years, and the wheels and tires, they are like 8 years old. And they're, to me, it's a super dated look. Now, they do have crazy awesome fitment, as you guys can see down the profile of the car. But to me, this is a dated look, and I want to go with something a little bit more timeless. So I think that basically wraps up everything that I have going on in the garage. All cars are going to be modified. So now let's talk about kind of what I've done in the last couple months. We've already kind of talked about one, and that's the propane tank on the back of the Jeep over here. A Maniac hooked us up. I gave him a regular 5-pound propane tank. He went ahead and made this color. Yeah, he made it. He mixed it and made it so that it kind of blends in with everything. And of course, he threw on an awesome little decal. If you guys remember, he really wanted to put this biohazard sticker somewhere on the vehicle, so we found a place for it, and that's the back of the propane tank. And this thing is super solid. This is a 5 or axis mount, not 5-axis, but I guess an axis mount. Got it off Amazon. It was like 50 bucks or something like that. It does a great job. This thing does not move. So let's take us to the front of the car here, because this is where all the mods have been. For starters, is my little Diode Dynamics S3. Yep, added a little amber cover on there, and I'll show you why I did that. Right here, as we got new headlights. That's right, I'll try to give you a good angle of that. But these are custom-made headlights from Alex Labrache. How do you? I think that's how you say his name. Anyway, I'll put a link down in the description of how to get in touch with him if you want some custom headlights. Basically, what he does, I guess, is he buys regular old headlights for the Jeep and then takes them all apart and puts in projectors in them any way you want. This is exactly how I asked him to do it. The light output is insane. I'll show you here in a second. But this has been a huge upgrade. These things are not cheap, but they are 100% custom and they're awesome. And I took them over to Maniac, and he covered them with some clear vinyl, so they'll stay nice and good looking for a while here. And we also got some Diode Dynamics SS3 Pros here in the fog light position, and these things are awesome, super killer bright. It's a custom mount by me. Dude, this thing is sick coming down the road now. I love the yellow accents, and if you think those KC lights are staying up there, you're dead wrong, because those things are coming off. And we're gonna get some Diode Dynamics SS5s up there to match everything, and it's gonna look totally sick when we're finished. So anyway, guys, that brings you totally up to date with what's been going on in Extreme Daily Driver's garage. Let me know down in the comments which upgrade you guys are looking forward to the most. Quite frankly, I'm looking forward to all of them the most. The one I'm looking forward to the least is probably the sway bars for the Miata. You'll see when we do that. Radiator's got to come out the whole bit. That was a bigger job that I was anticipating when I made that purchase. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. Videos to come. I'm going to start making some videos here on the regular. I got to get some of this stuff out of the garage, onto the vehicles. I got to stop playing golf so much and get back to wrenching. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Later.